And so, yeah, it didn't want to. I don't know what it is. I had a respiratory infection,
Oh, get
and
better, brother.
I know, right?
There we go.
Uh-uh.
Everybody be posted.
All right, here we go. We are on, but yeah, I just something. I don't know what it is. It just won't go away.
You know it's been
It
going
doesn't
like
leave.
that for a minute, and I have a teacher. She said she had like sinuses and stuff like that. It took her almost 2 months to really, and she
Dang.
said the doctor told her to take Flonase.
That's what mine told me. So what did she end up taking after that?
Nothing.
Right?
I think that's what started just clearing it up. The
No,
Flonase.
I've been taking Flonase. It started working and it stopped.
Well, how you been drinking? Increase your fluids because that helps break up the phlegm.
Yeah,
Um, tea
yeah, do
and
that.
all right. Well, there ain't nothing you could do now. Let the body go do some jogging.
It's cold up there, isn't it?
Nah,
Yeah.
actually, it's in the 50s. It's warmed up around the 70s, and it's gonna drop. Then it's gonna go back up. It's gonna hit about the 60s. It's springtime now, so we might have a couple of those cold days. It'll be cold at night, but during the day it'll be warmer.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
gonna be
it'll be
interesting.
hoodie season.
You say warmer at night?
No, it'll be
No,
cold at night, but it'll be
colder at night.
I
warmer during the
was
day.
like, okay. I was like,
But you
maybe my
hold on
brain.
though. But Texas be warmer. Texas be like it get hotter sometimes at night, and you be like, huh? But I'm not in Texas though. But
Texas is a whole nother.
yeah,
That's a whole different discussion.
it's a
Yep.
whole nother creature. All right, let's
Did you
do
see
this.
Joe? Let's say
Let's
Cat
bring
Williams
this
on
in.
Joe Rogan. That's what made
Who?
when you said Texas. Cat Williams was on Joe Rogan.
Oh, nah, I ain't see that.
It was nah. Cat is really a sharp dude. I was just surprised.
I
Hmm.
figure he is.
So,
Hold on, let's bring this in though. Here we
all right.
go. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Black Filmmakers Lounge Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. The Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, whether novice or professionals, come together to gain insight, perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black independent film community. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, with my co-host, Tamara TK Anderson, and our new co-host, who comes and hangs out with us, Jacoby Simmons, y'all. So, welcome, Jacoby, to the
Yay,
hold on.
Jacoby!
So Jacoby will be pretty much a regular.
Yes,
There'll be times when TK's not here, Jacoby will be here, and we'll be hanging out. And then there's times all three of us will be here. So we do what we do. We all got little different things happening and going on. So we like to welcome you guys and say good morning if you are joining us. And then I got to go and host. What y'all doing?
It, I'm waking up. Yeah. Yeah. I
the
had a great
best
night.
part of waking up is waking up. You had a good night.
Yeah. It was. I told you I
Oh,
was celebrating.
oh, I thought you meant you were celebrating the other night, not last night. Okay,
No.
So
I
we
waited. It was
celebrating.
during the week. It was during the week. I don't celebrate my birthday, and when it hits during the week, I wait till the weekend to enjoy it. And I find a small group of friends, go to a place I'm comfortable with, and just relax. Because for me, my birthday means relaxation. To take in all the craziness, be reflective, and be thankful and grateful that I'm
Yes,
here another year to enjoy and plan and to come on and like be with friends because that's what I consider when I come on here is I'm hanging out with my friends.
thank you.
absolutely.
I
Friend,
feel the same
friends.
thing.
I missed the
Z
S.
S.
Oh, okay. I was just saying I didn't catch the S. Well,
Oh,
yay!
okay.
So glad you made it another year. So excited.
Thank you.
You have so
Thank
much
you.
stuff that you're doing, so much stuff that is ahead of you, and we are so excited for you. I am excited for you. I am
Thank
excited. We are excited for you, and
you.
yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Michael trying to lift you up. Michael elevating you. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
He
Easy,
said,
baby.
then all our heads,
Oh
match.
man, yeah. Happy belated
Mm-hmm.
birthday, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I take it all in, brother.
Oh man. I'm not even gonna ask you
So,
how old you are.
well, I don't
I
mind
was
sharing.
wondering, how old are
52.
you?
Oh,
Oh, okay. So you're a year older than me. Okay.
Yes. So I guess
Yay.
I'm the old person in the group.
right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'll be sitting in class, my students will be like, how old are you, Mr. Melvin? I said, I'm 1,105 years old. They're like, how'd you make it this far? So you've seen everything. I said, yeah. People get
What are
all
your
that done.
secrets?
Uh,
What are your
yeah.
secrets?
Yeah. I wish
That
my
is too
kids thought
funny.
like that. They think I'm
But,
stupid. You know, high school
listen.
kids think they know everything, and
Yeah.
that
Oh my
everything they did is
God.
brand new.
Yeah.
Everything they do is brand new, and y'all get to see it firsthand.
It's
Yeah.
so funny
This is hilarious.
because all this stuff, I'll be sitting there and they're like, how do you catch me? Man, I did all that stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
Y'all doing the wrong stuff.
I
They
just
think
had to
they
let
know,
them
like
be.
he said, they think they know everything.
Yeah. And it's
I told
brand
him.
new.
Yeah, I told him when I was in middle school, I thought I was invincible too.
Yep. Yep.
Surprise!
Yeah. But see, you know what fixed that for me?
What?
We had a principal that used to be a linebacker, and he had
Ha!
for the Raiders, and he had a paddle with holes in it. So my
Oh
invincibility
yeah.
left when that paddle hit my butt. And I
Oh.
no longer wanted to be invincible.
You know what? And people are like, corporate, and of course we know that the what is the word I'm looking for?
Corporal punishment.
Corporal punishment, no, but the like we know that unfortunately, like it wouldn't what the heck? Oh, I did that. Okay, sorry. We know unfortunately that like minority kids were getting more than white kids. The disproportion.
Oh, yeah, that's what
The
we were talking
disproportion.
about.
But it really did work. And
Let's
that's the like we didn't have a whole bunch of stuff going on at the school. No fighting teachers, no talking back. We didn't have a whole bunch
But
of
we
stuff going
also
on, and
had
that
parents
paddle
that
was
showed
sitting
up.
behind them. Yeah, we did. Well, I
My-
didn't. I didn't. My parent was
Oh,
always at work, but
my
I
mom
wasn't a
did.
bad kid, thank goodness.
Oh, my mom did
oh
the
no.
surprise.
But that paddle sitting on back of that board, we were
And
straight.
listen,
We were like, we good,
I
we
I
good.
can't speak on black kids or white kids getting it worse because I went to a 98% black school with a few
Uh-huh.
Asians and white people. I can name the white people I graduated with. All I knew that anybody could get it. And at any time, and that after I got the paddle, if my mom found out, I was going to
Mm.
get it again. And
Right.
this is a true story, and we're gonna move on to talk about films while I'm embarrassing myself. But I'm very small. Well, I shouldn't say very because I'm bigger than Cat Williams. But I was little in 8th grade. I got paddle, and since it had holes in it, you had polka dot on the thing. So I was looking up with both knees and hands on the sink, trying to look in the mirror to see what my butt looked like. And my mom walked in because she was wondering what all that noise was. And then she found out that I got in trouble, and I got another beat.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
those days.
So I don't want no smoke. I went to school. I ain't want no problems.
You're
I ain't want no
right.
warnings.
That's
None
what
of
I'm
that.
saying, boy. That's what I'm saying. Like, I commend you teachers today, all of you educators, everybody that work with kids. And I commend you guys all. I was a supervisor, and I was like, oh, this is where these kids come after they get to run their own households and run their parents at, 6 years old. Then they got to get jobs and have supervisors. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
but yeah, so I commend all of you educators,
Well,
all of
thank you
you that
very
work with
much.
children.
Appreciate it.
Because I'll be like, they'd be like, did TK post bail yet? So anyway,
All
yes,
right.
back to film. So what do
What
you
you been
guys watch this
watching?
week?
It's you, TK.
I watched I did get to watch a documentary, Giannis, A Marvelous Story.
Mhm.
and that guy plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. I didn't know about him because the only person I know in basketball is about three people, and one of them is my favorite player, Kristaps Porzingis, who plays with the Celtics right now. But I'm not. I'm a football fan. I'm not as big as a basketball fan, but I did. My favorite genre is sports documentaries, and so I
Mhm.
saw that last night, and I was like, I cried and I cried and I shouted and I cheered and I yelled, like all the emotions with them telling that story. So it was really good. Giannis, a marvelous story. And then I
No, I'm
watched
gonna
another
check that out.
episode. Huh?
I said
Yes.
I'm gonna check it out. You know, he has both of his brothers on his team,
So
so
both of
he
the brothers
made
are playing now.
they're
I know
playing on
one
the
in a
bench.
documentary.
Yeah, they're on the bench. I think it's both of them. I know it's at least one on the bench,
Yeah.
been on the team, but I think that's part of his contract too, that his brother stays in the league with them. So
See,
I'm
and
pretty sure if Giannis goes, his brother going too.
his brother just got pulled in like a couple of years ago with a 2-year contract. But they
Mm-hmm.
didn't show the other, you know what I mean? They didn't show the other brother in, but they did show the one. And my auntie was like, he don't get no playing time either. It's part of his stuff.
Nope.
But let me tell you, I mean, it was a really, really great documentary. Yeah, I really,
I'm
like I
gonna check it
said,
out.
for me to be shouting and crying and cheering and all that stuff up in here, I was just like, that was good. Doing part X. And then
Hey,
I
good
watched
morning,
another,
Thomas.
hey Thomas, I watched another part of Malcolm X, MLK. I mean, I keep saying it wrong. MLKX. MLKX.
Hmm.
The National Geographic series. So I have two more episodes of that. And then I watched a short animated film last night called Soft Rain about the mental well, depression. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
get it. It was 6 or 7 minutes, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I kind of got it. I think I got it, but yeah, I didn't get it. It was only like 6 or 7 minutes, but
Were you depressed after you watched it?
no, I was just like,
This guy.
I think, yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't. I thought
Because I,
I thought I had it a second ago, but I just did. No, I didn't
so
get
what
it.
is the perspective? Like, whose perspective was it from?
It was from the man's perspective, and he went out. So he had to take all these medicines because he opened his
Hmm.
cabinet. He got up depressed. Went to the cabinet. All that. He poured the pills, took the pills. Then he went outside. It started to rain these little soft pink fuzzy things.
Hmm.
And so it just kind of bing, 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 bing. You know how it starts to rain, then it starts to downpour. Then he ran to the bus stop, and the bus stop was covered. So he had to stand on the outside, and just standing there with no umbrella. And then the girl came up and she did the umbrella. And then she let down the umbrella. And then she, like, started dancing in the rain. And then they start dancing together in the rain. And
Hmm.
then he missed the bus because they was dancing. But then another bus came immediately after. So they
Okay.
both got on the bus, but then when he got home, he walked in again, all depressed, and he looked at the umbrella, and then he walked upstairs, and he went to his cabinet, and he opened the cabinet, and instead of the pill bottles, it was the little fluffy things,
Hmm. So you're seeing
and
his
and
world
they,
from his
and,
perspective then.
and then it ended.
Oh, okay. That's
He didn't even
interesting.
What?
smile. If he would have smiled at the end when he seen the fluffy things kind of changing his perspective, I would understand that. He didn't need smile at anything. He was just like,
It could have been because you have narratives, docs, and you have what's the other one? Experimental,
Mm-hmm.
that are kind of abstract way of telling stories and experimental stories. So could have been an experimental. I don't
definitely
know.
experimental. If he would have
Okay.
smiled at the end, then I would have seen him seeing the rain and seeing the good side of him having all the medicines in the cabinet. But he didn't crack a smile. So I was like, I'm glad this wasn't longer than 6 minutes, but I'm glad y'all got it done because animation is hard. But
Oh
I
yeah.
was
So
just
it
left
was
a little,
animated. Yeah, it was experimental then. It was
I
probably
was a little
experimental.
confused. But Thomas said he watched Dune Part 2 in
In the
an
movies.
RPX stereo theater.
Yeah.
All
That's
It's
a
right.
too many
great
initials.
experience. RPX. I don't know what RPX means, but I know it's the extra surround sound and like the Dolby sound, but it's the
Instead of
step up
Dolby
from the Dolby
Digital and
sound.
stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but yeah, I do know that much, and I'm not a
They
tech
got a
person.
they got a lot of new stuff going on. All right. Is that it? That's all you watched?
Mhm.
All right. Jacoby, thank you,
Well,
TK, for
this
sharing.
is this has been an eventful week. So there's a few things that I've watched, but it's not traditional. So one, I watched the Bad Batch though. I'm
Yeah.
loving the Bad Batch. Um, I'm loving how they're using these animated series, which Marvel does poorly, to tie all the Star Wars together. Even the ones that we hate, they're making it make sense,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
which I'm loving that they're doing. Also, me, Mike, and Lou are in a group chat, and so I've been watching a lot of videos about AI and stuff that Mike has been sending it. Also, the Apple Vision Pro, and then lastly, I watched a little portion and caught some images of one of my friends, Kyle Adams. His
Mm.
book was put in the library at Cheney University, where he went to school with me,
Oh
Mm.
and
wow.
so it's
Cool.
those kind of things put life in perspective about the greatness of my friends, which I include y'all, my
Yay.
circle, and it's inspiring. And I'm like, now is a stage in life where these things are challenging me or inspiring me to do better, you know. And these are people that I call and are my brothers, and those are the people you want around you. So and
Yeah.
being my birthday, seeing that moment, watching the stuff that Mike sends me, and all those things really make you reflect on the people you have around you. Really start to push and challenge you when you got the right set of people around
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was your gym right there.
There you go. So,
That
all
was your
right.
gym.
And TK said in YouTube land, because we were both on YouTube and Facebook, so you can catch us in either place. If you're on Facebook, come over to the Black Filmmakers Lounge Facebook page, and of course, go to the YouTube page, and we can see your comments for YouTube, and we can see your comments for Facebook. So she said, "What are you guys watching?" Of course, Thomas shared what he's watching, and so I watched Mia Coppola.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I watched Halo. I've been watching Halo.
Mm.
I like Halo. Um, and I watched The Bad Batch. And there's some stuff I'm gonna watch today. Disney Plus has some things up, but that's what I've watched this week. Oh, Aquaman. I did watch Aquaman also, the new one, The
What did
Lost
you think of
Kingdom.
that?
Um, it was a cool, fun movie to watch. It was entertaining. It was predictable, entertaining. But I think and so and you know what? This will take us into our what we're talking about anyway about finding your audience. Because they want to be entertained, right? The audience wants to be entertained. Um, was I entertained by Aquaman? Yeah. Is it the greatest movie on the planet? No. Um, I don't look for superhero movies to be like any greater. But you know what? It wasn't horrible or nothing like that. It was an entertaining movie. It had a story. There was a point to it, and it didn't do everything comics do, but you saw, and it was about brotherhood. It was about redemption, and it reminded me of other movies, pieces of other movies. And
Mhm.
so I always say
Mm.
there's nothing new under the sun, right? We've heard that. And in the film world, I've said this plenty of times. Movies are just train wrecks. You're just watching to see how it plays out. There's nothing more. I mean, especially us, all of us grew up in America to an extent, right? And we have, um, good morning, Godmother University, good morning. We, good morning, Derek. we take on Western storytelling, the Western philosophy of storytelling, what America teaches us. And if you start watching movies from other countries, you see that storytelling can be very unique, um, shaped different. It's like there was this movie. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. I know TK probably hasn't seen it. It's called Old Boy. And if you've seen Old Boy, the original Japanese version, you get it. Spike Lee redid it with Josh Brolin. And my dad watched it one day because he never seen it, and he's watching the American version, and it kind of lines up pretty much almost with the Japanese version. But for America, it's out there. Like, that's the thing. It's one of those movies that's out there. It's about a guy who has to suffer, go through some stuff because of how he lived his past. And he's been captive for years. And he's set free when his daughter becomes an adult. It's basically an adult living on her own, living her life. And he looks for her, though he already finds her. And so I'm not going to give it away, but in case people want to watch it, but it's one of those things. And I watched Tyler Perry's movie, and I'm always baffled of why. And this comes from film groups. I'm not talking about the average audience. I'm talking about filmmakers, people who say they're filmmakers. Why are we so opinionated and critical of someone else's work so bad, so much? And it's like, it's the worst, it's this, it's that. And we have so much to say, but the audience loves it.
I can give you a few things if you want to
Go ahead.
hear. So there's a little bit of hater inside, tad bit of hate. People are, it's him. Why is it him, not me? Right?
Okay.
And then technically, people are bougie as far as their film technique and what a film should be from what they've been taught. And so they become elitist in thought about what film should be technically good, blah, blah, blah. And they forget that none of that shit matters if it's a good story.
Okay.
Right? And part of telling the story is, who am I talking to and making what you want to see? Like Tyler Perry makes what he wants to see, and he ties it to his fan base. So when you look at it and it's bad wigs, right? Or the editing sucks, right? And all these other things that we're looking for technically, the average person doesn't give a crap about because they're not trained to look at those things. Like when you edit, you're looking at frames and frames and frames and over and over and over and over, and you're training yourself to look at your videos. So inherently you look at someone else's videos the same way, or films, or whatever you want to talk about. And so you become judgmental. And so hater, jealousy, and being judgmental and an elitist gives you all of those things for filmmakers in there in the group. Because most of the times we're worried about the technical, how does it look? And what did he do? And how did he do this? When is the story good? Because how many beautiful films have we seen that suck?
A lot.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, the first movie, should have died when it was in the conception for a film. Talking about the film in itself, right? It was beautiful, but it sucked. So what are we doing here?
It just, but the thing is, you know what? There is an audience, like you said, the audience. I am not part of that audience, so I already know what to expect if I do decide to watch it. You know what I mean? I already know the quality of the film. I already know the storytelling of the film. So if I go and decide to watch, I already know what I'm going to get. So that's how I see it. So if you know what I mean, for people, we're not brand. Some people, some directors, some filmmakers we're brand new to, but then some we're not. So the ones we're not, if you choose to watch it, you know what you're going to get.
And I think that's my other issue is there's always, when you're in different groups, the black filmmakers are like, Tyler Perry movie's horrible. It sucks. It's this. I'm like, you're putting too much energy in someone else's work, man. You can't see why they have viewerships. And I'm like, there's no such thing as bad publicity. You want something to die, you don't talk about it. You talk about it, people get curious. It's real simple. You know?
Now, I have a question.
Mhm.
Like you said, this man has been making the same movies. Like, if I'm Tyler Perry, right?
Mhm.
These movies got me out the back of a car. These same type of stories. I shouldn't even say movies. These stories got me out the back of a car. They've got me almost $1 billion studio setups. Why I'm a change? And that's the problem. We get in our egos and want to expand and do all these other things and forget about the audience that got us rich.
Right.
And or trying to fit in. There's also something trying to fit into what the stereotype closer to white is right when we look at a lot of stuff we do. And people might not want to address it, but they the closer we get to doing stuff the way they do it is what we accept and judge our own selves and look at them as why this, why that, why this, why that. And I don't think I don't necessarily I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry's work, right? But I don't think he's harmed the image of black men the way people make it sound.
I think, and see, I look at it different ways. I have 2 Tyler Perry movies I like: The Family That Prays and Daddy's Little Girls. Those are the ones that, to me, are his best films. They weren't plays. They stood out and they were unique to me at the time. But that's just me. I like because the voice he chose for those stories, right? His audience is women. It's like black women. His audience is black women. My wife liked Mia. She did. She was like, I liked it. What I liked about Mia, I was like, he is learning color. Like, I'm looking at it, he's learning colors. He's learning to set tone and mood through color and cinematography. He's got it. The way it was done in such a way, you saw a lot of teals, oranges, and reds, right? And blues, kind of, but it was more the teal blue. So, but you got to remember, it's a story about a lawyer representing an artist. So it had somewhat of an artistic tone to it. And so that's what I can say, oh, he is learning something. You know, like he made, and I'm like, I think my dad said it best to me. You got people who are really going to love your stuff, people that ain't going to like your stuff at all, and you got the people in the middle. You said the people you really want to listen to are the people in the middle. The people at the top, they might love your stuff because they like you. You know, the people at the bottom, they might not like your stuff because they hate you. And they can't see why you are where you are or done what you done. It says the people in the middle, they go, I like this about it, but this is what I didn't like about it. But why did you do this? The ones that generate a conversation around your work and get you thinking. And so we have too many people up here and too many people down here and very few people talking in the middle.
Well, you know, I apologize to interrupt, but I don't think it's that. I think it's the echo chamber of filmmakers who are elitist because calling themselves filmmakers. They feel like we're here. You know, I'm a filmmaker. But like what's the difference between a cinematographer and a videographer? People will argue that in different ways.
Cinematographers to me understand how to shape lighting to tell a story, create and capture a mood. A videographer uses lights to brighten up the image so it can be seen, but they don't really necessarily shape it. Like a videographer is going to work in wedding videos, they're going to work in entertainment videos. Not saying a cinematographer won't, and the two can cross over, but I look at a cinematographer as a painter.
I got you,
understand
right?
Painting. Yeah.
Yeah, but outside of that small group, who cares? And that's my point. Like when you're talking about teals and blues, as a filmmaker, right? Your wife don't even give a shit about teals and blues. Let me give a crap about teals and blues.
Well, she noticed it. After we were talking, she noticed it because it shapes her mood and emotion. Like,
well, you trained her though.
Well, no, she gets it because the average viewer does understand. Like, filmmaking has a literacy built into it. We're reading films like we read books.
But Mike, right? 1 million people read books and start to pick up an understanding, but they don't understand how the story is broken down to tell a story completely, the science of it, and all that other stuff. They get what they like. They get the things that compel them. They get to understand the things that keep them, or they don't like, right?
Right.
But they're not understanding the science behind it, or why they're not looking at it like, oh, Tyler Perry evolved as a filmmaker. No, they're looking at it as, oh, wow. It's sad because it's maybe blue, or will be like, and as a filmmaker, you'd be like, why the heck they show that football? We know that's going to be important 3 scenes down the road because they just did a close up on the football for a random reason in the beginning. It's foreshadowing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We understand the science of it and the technique of it. They don't, and they don't care. They just want to be entertained and get caught up in the movie. We can't help but to lose focus because we're trained to look at the science of it, and it's a habit.
Okay.
It's a habit.
And I think that's what it is. I think even coming from music, right? I think people overdo it. Like the people behind the scenes, they're too technical sometimes for their own good. And I had to learn this. Like at a young age, I learned this when I was shooting videos for clients and shooting short films for other people. They like it. They'll be like, "Oh, I like it. I like it." I'm like, I saw a problem there. I need to fix it. Oh no, it's fine the way it is. And you're like, nah, dude, just let me. Nah. And you're kind of like when the person you working for and your audience is fine with it, you gotta learn to step back and let it go. Because we could be at it all night, right?
Yep.
We're perfectionists.
Yeah, because but that's how we've been trained. That's when, like, I'm in class. I did a little mini doc for my class. I showed it to the people I did it for. They loved it. My teacher goes, "You need more B-roll. You need to put it in a sequence. The sound needs to be adjusted so that you use the audio for more emotion. Blah 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 blah." Right. So now I'm looking at it the same way my evaluator is looking at it. My audience isn't looking at it that way. Right? They're looking at it completely different. And so that's the thing, that filmmakers take themselves too seriously. That's what I say in that, to keep it short. Yep.
Right.
And Derek is right. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. 100%. But that's what happens. Filmmakers get it. Oh, God, I'm sorry, TK.
No, go ahead. Keep going. You're flowing. Go ahead.
Oh, just that we sit at this perch on a golden what is it, the castle, and talk about everything that we see and judge it. And some of those filmmakers you in a group with ain't even making movies. So I don't got time.
And that's usually what I've seen. Now I haven't made a project in a little bit since grad school, but like, and that was 2020. But like, when I look at stuff, I used to ask people all the time, well, what you got out? And I used to ask, I used to want people to understand what you put out there. And this is to filmmakers or anybody in a creative space. When you're critiquing and really spending so much time looking at someone else's work and trying to break it down and how good they are or not, you open a door for yourself to be under that same scrutinization.
Yep.
And you miss the point that this is a business. Whether you like something or not is only subjective anyway. Actually, on my page, my personal page, I posted some art pieces. And I asked, would you pay $1,000 for these pieces? One of them looks like splats that I could just do I'm an artist anyway. But, a kid could do, right? Throw paint on a board and everything. That Joker's worth over $16,000. It's subjective. People like what they like. They feel what they feel. It's subjective. And I think when us as filmmakers, we waste too much time criticizing another filmmaker because of where they are and what we think they should be. Because I'm like, first of all, we have to get out the thing of stop counting someone else's money. It ain't yours. And they didn't get where they are paying a lot of money to do stuff in the first place. Actually, if you look back, his budgets were like anywhere from $3 to $5 million in the beginning for his movies. And he was making 50, 60 million. That's a huge return on investment.
3 to 5 million.
Yeah, and so
Look, no. I'm just thinking like on what? That's all. As an independent filmmaker, it's like 3 to 5 million on what? Like
but
which movie?
he
I
I
get it. I
mean,
get it.
yeah,
I
but
get
like
it. But
so he had productions, and the quality wasn't horrible if you look at how they shot. No, were they perfect? No. But you got to remember he got into it, but did it work for him? Yes. It got who was supposed to go sit in a movie theater to go sit in a movie theater. Now, has he been putting movies in the theater? Not really. He's been pushing them to the platforms, and they're paying for it. That's what everybody wants done. That you garner such an audience, and they showed how Mia is like number one in these various different countries on Netflix right now, and countries you wouldn't even think about it is number one.
and at the bottom of Rotten Tomatoes and everything else, but it's number one. They mentioned that. They said even though, you know, the reviews are really bad about the movie, the audience is still watching it because he has his audience.
Yeah,
So
but
So
yeah, they talk about that.
so let me put something in perspective in my thing. This is how I feel.
Mhm.
And so when you look at Hollywood, right? There's a documentary called The Jew. An Empire of Their Own: How the Jews Created Hollywood.
Mhm.
Hmm.
The stories that we consider are American stories aren't American stories. They're stories of the immigrants a lot of times that came here. All we did was change the name and make it sound more American, right?
Mhm.
And those storytellers knew their audiences and
Hmm.
told those stories and made them American stories. And then they became a large part of the American zeitgeist and also the American dream. What we consider the American dream, right? Is
Mhm.
stories of these Jewish men who came to America, right, and became successful. And that became in America. The American dream is making it from rags to riches, blah blah blah. But it's really the story of the immigrant. When you go look at those old movies,
Hmm.
um, and look at even, and I know I'm getting too deep for a second, but
No,
look at how they changed the name of the characters. I mean, not of the characters, of the actors. They changed the
mhm.
name of the actors to make them fit their fan base
Right.
so
Mm.
that people would love them. Right? So we're sitting here talking about a man who's making movies specific to what his fan base loves. And that's what Hollywood is based on. Right?
Mhm.
If you go to MGM, I believe they made those movies where you're in the water, those water musicals,
Yeah.
right? Then you got another one who made the westerns. You got another
Mhm.
studio who made just the westerns.
And pumping them out like an assembly line.
Exactly, because they knew who they were talking to and they focused on it and they harnessed it, and that's what made them classics today, right? Because when you look back, some of those Tyler Perry movies are going to be considered classics. When you go look back at black exploitation, they weren't technically done well,
Mhm.
but we could relate to them as a people. They spoke to us. So speak to who you speaking to and leave people alone. Tyler Perry is not my thing, right? But
Right.
Marvel movies aren't everybody else's thing.
Right.
And people talk about
Hmm.
Marvel movies. And then everybody doesn't want to watch The Notebook, right? No, I'm being real. So like,
Yeah.
No, right. You're
leave,
right.
let the brother live.
But and that's where I'm saying, like, I think the problem is hearing a lot of filmmakers talk, especially who weren't pumping out something consistently or all the time. Remember when I said earlier when we came back, right, that we need to leverage ourselves. And we're constantly doing something that doesn't leverage us. Right? When you down your fellow filmmaker, they're paving a way for you in your work. Right? They're opening you
Mhm.
up to various audiences, but when you start tearing them down, there's a couple of things that happen. One, audiences don't forget who tore people down that they love.
Mm. Mm.
All right. So we gotta understand that. They're not they look, you mess with Beyonce, Wait for that beehive.
You mess with Tabitha, baby. Them
Yeah.
avocado people coming.
Right. And so you got to understand. And usually as filmmakers, what we really want to do is piggyback off of each other constantly. Open doors that it's like this. I always said if independent filmmakers got together and showed a slew of short films that totaled 90 minutes and they all put their money into running theater and charged, they would get an audience from each other and they would build their audience. When they don't do that, they think I'm by myself, I'm the only one. No, we can't do it alone. This is an industry where you need to build conglomerates, teams, collaborate, and work with people to open yourselves up because they can guide you places that you haven't been yet. It's like they constantly come to our group, the Black Filmmakers Lounge community, and they always want to advertise the wrong way, but they always want to promote their stuff in a filmmakers group. And I'm like, this is not where you come. You come here to build a relationship, to make connections. You go to your audience where they're at. Excuse me. So if I'm talking, let's say we're teachers, we make a movie about teachers. We go into a teachers group. There's the Black Educators, whatever, I can't remember, BER. Mm-hmm. If we make a movie about Black educators, that's the group we go in. And but we go in there before we got the movie. That's the other problem. We don't wait till you got the movie. You go before you got the movie so people know who you are. And you build that relationship. And so when you got a movie ready to drop, they connect to it. They're already connected to you. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So sorry.
That's okay. And I wanted to read the comments. Mm-hmm. Derek said acrimony. When you said acrimony, Derek, was that good or bad acrimony? But Thomas said everyone is going to eat chitlins. So when you cook them, you do it for yourself and the folks who love them. I don't eat them, but hey, some folks love them. Make films for who you like. And Derek said, can we put that one on the screen? Derek said, man, make the movie you want to see and invite the people to come and see it. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of good. One thing, and when we talked about audience and stuff, I write movies that God gives me because he called me to write. So whatever comes through is what I write. Okay. I literally don't seek out an audience to make a film that an audience wants to see. Mm-hmm. Like Derek was saying, that's what, Derek was saying, man, make the movie you want to see. I'm making what God gives me, or I'm writing what God gives me. And then like when I wrote before this movie Jade is even out, Jade's heart, before this movie Jade is even out, if you guys knew the number of women I have met that are Jades, it can every time it just completely brings tears to my eyes. I even had the songwriter for the title track. She was in a group and she was having a conversation with somebody, and somebody asked her what she was doing, and she mentioned the film, about writing the song for the film, and they literally started crying because she gave them like a very brief, like a very 2-sentence, 3-sentence overview, and the person started crying. They were like, "That's me," and it's like that, and it's so. I'm like, I did not know. Like I said, I wrote this movie that I was given, and then so many of the ailments, including a young girl with a heart condition that needs open heart surgery. I had never met anybody with a heart condition. So so many of the aspects of this movie, people are relating to in a major way. And the movie is we ain't even filmed it yet. It's not even out yet. And I'm literally like, oh my God. So the impact that now I know it's going to have when it's made, like it's going to be overwhelming, but I didn't write it because I knew any Jades. I was writing stuff. And then people were coming back saying, wait, that's me. Wait, my mom did this. Wait, my mom wouldn't sign the paperwork for financial aid either. And I'm like, wait, that's before they even knew that part was even in the movie. So like Derek said, make the movie that you're going to make, make the movie that you've been given. I always say we are created to create. Mm-hmm. So we are given these ideas and these movies and we don't understand why at first, but at the end, it all makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's all I got to say about the audience piece.
No, but that's important because there's two types of films. Like as we were doing our homework last night, they talked about there's commercial films who were made for a commercial audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the filmmaker's film who you got an idea, you want to see it done, and you're going to gravitate people to it because they're going to like what you're doing or the story that you're telling, right? And I think people miss that. And this is why I used to always ask people a simple question when they talk about they want to get into filmmaking. Why do you want to make films?
Mm-hmm.
Right? The commercial aspect is, hey, I'm in this to make money. So you're fine with joining the assembly line of Hollywood, right? I mean, and you should, and no one should have an opinion, therefore, of what you're doing because that's what works for you. Somebody who sells sneakers, they're not sitting there selling sneakers because they want to be poor. They're selling sneakers to get rich, to put some money in their pocket. They're not going to sell you a car to get poor. They're selling you a car to get rich. Everybody's in their game to make some money and do something. That's what it's about for some people. Then you have somebody who's an artist. Let me do these quotes. Artists. And artists say, oh, I want to make it. I'm going to paint this picture. And if people like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. I still painted the picture I want. I still made the movie I want. And whether people like that movie or not, it doesn't matter. You know, but at the end of the day, if I'm asking people for money to make my film, they want a return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not,
and they want something to say. They want to have input
because they're putting in the most money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very big on understanding that business perspective, right? Because I think that's where we mess up at, is because we get into this and we don't understand business. It's great to be an artist, but if you're an artist so because you want to sell your work, you got to know business. What's going to sell it?
Yeah.
And Darrell said that's how I feel my current project. I'm still trying to understand why God gave me this one. I wasn't planning on it. And you know, Darrell, you know me, I totally understand because I didn't plan nothing I've ever written. And it's crazy because let me take that back. I planned the first two. The story, I thought about the stories of the first two because I wanted to make something with the Garter. I wanted to make something that uplifted Black men.
Mm-hmm.
And then Camp Wanna Poo Poo. These are my second and third scripts. Camp Wanna Poo Poo, I wanted to give something for the preteens to watch because the preteens either have to go low or they have to go high. They don't have anything that they make specifically. Normally, it's not a lot out there for preteens. So I want that's why I made that one. But it's crazy because Camp Wanna Poo Poo is now optioned. God said the second movie I'm making is the Garter, and so it's like, oh, so those two. But other than that, everything else was just like, I'm like, okay, whatever's supposed to happen with this is going to happen because I have 14. I think I could, how many can I shoot? 13. I think 13 of those 14 I can shoot. One I can't shoot. It's a really good one too.
You shoot? Which one?
I cannot shoot Cinderfella. And let me tell you, if anybody wants to read Cinderfella, let me tell you, I love that movie. I took the Dana Dane song, Cinderfella Dana Dane, and I wrote a whole movie off that song. Lyrics, everything. It is one of my favorite, but the movie was used for me to connect with him as a colleague and a brother versus me to make it. But I ain't gonna tell you how quick I wrote the first draft because it was so overwhelming inside my brain. It was like done like first draft was done like that. But yeah, so it's a fun script. So if anybody ever wants to read it, hey, might as well just let people read it because that's I can't do nothing. I can't make it.
There's two that you haven't mentioned that I think you should be working on.
But see, wait, what? But that's the thing. I have, and I think it's all what that taught me with Can't Wanna Poo Poo and the Garter because somebody tried to buy the Garter for $500. And for God to be like, that's the second movie you're going to make. I kid you not. I was like, that didn't cover one trip for me to go learn this craft, to take classes. That didn't cover one trip. So it's like, you want to buy for how much? Well, at least you have something. No, I have something regardless if you buy this or not. You must not understand who I am and what I've been called to do. So anyway, but So I do feel like I have a lot of great films, but I was told Jade was first and The Garter was second.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, yes, I have LOL. Yes, I have Project Him.
Project Him
Um,
is your Disney movie, but go ahead.
Project Him is that's probably my highest concept movie.
Hmm.
Um, is Project Him. That's a high concept Disney type of movie. And it's and like you guys know me. Like if you want to read something, let me know. But I have 13. This is just originals. This is not client scripts. This is not plays, whatever. This is just features. So I have four. I counted them. I think I have 14. Derek,
Derek said, when they go in production? She's working on Jade now.
I'm working on Jade now. I have basically almost probably 90% of every detail laid out of this movie. I'm waiting on the budget to fall. I've been given instructions on a specific budget. And so I chose to follow those instructions and wait on those budgets. So Derek, very soon, or I'm going to go crazy because every day I'm getting instructions. Like I've been meeting with the music, the music supervisor. I've been meeting with everybody. The IMDb page is actually going live. Like that's going live. So yes, Derek. So quiz when are your films whenever you're casting. I know Tony. Tony, you know I love you and your acting, even though you kind of I think ahead in dominoes right now. But so soon as I have something for you, you will know. But it's funny because with this movie, so many of these people, which I think, okay, the orange one is casting. So many of those people in cast and crew, God basically gave them to me. God was like, this person's gonna play this person, this one to play this person. So, so many of the people were put in place for me. So, and I love that because I'm following instructions and I'm listening. So yeah, so Derek, I am working. If you want to quiz me, Derek, please feel free to call. Anybody want to call me and quiz me to make sure I have my ducks in a row because pre-production is going to go fast and editing is going to take a month. So that's why everything has been has been in development, has been laid out, and I have been following the instructions every day. But Derek, my head is going to explode if I don't make this. And no, I'm not trying to make it perfect, Derek. I promise it's not the enemy. My enemy, it is following specific instructions.
Yeah, and it's everybody's in a different place. Like I actually am signing up to take some stuff in cybersecurity and AI education. Oh yeah, see, yeah. If you're gonna run a platform, you better understand cybersecurity. You're gonna do certain things. See, this is where thought process has to come in play for people. I'm always about constantly learning and building, and I don't hoard. Do I not hoard anything, Jacoby?
Nah, you don't. You share everything.
You share
and
everything.
As I would like to say, he puts us up on game.
And
one of us got to understand it, and it ain't me. So I can tell you, you already know how to.
And it's like, because it's like I'm a teacher. I'm an educator first and foremost, more than I thought I was. Film, entertainment, those are things I always wanted to do since I was a kid. Since the 6th grade, I wanted to be in media. 6th grade. Everything from music to films to poetry to art. I did it all. No one can take that experience away from me. That's how I look at it. But I think if I teach young people that they can do it and it doesn't take a lot of money as people keep telling themselves, or it takes very little money, because like I said, when I keep hearing people say no budget, there's no such thing as no budget. I can't. How'd you get the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you get craft services?
Exactly. How you get the food?
How did you pay for the noodles? Oh, say sorry.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I think when people keep saying no budget, they're not looking at the money you spent to do X, Y, and Z. You can find the money or you work for it. I just happen to spend my own money. I have yet to spend someone else's money. And so I pay people out of my money and I work. So I just look at, and I'm big on ownership. I think that's the biggest thing for me is IP. But that's why you got to find your audience. Your audience is how you get that return on investment. And I think with so many people constantly talking about another person's work, their focus is off. That's just where
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally agree. Because people don't understand. Like, I'm making these documentaries, these mini docs for sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am my audience. And I don't mean it like I'm just making people like me or who I'm making these documentaries for. So am I making what I like? And sometimes if you don't like it, it wasn't for you.
Mm-hmm. And
It
you got to
wasn't for
accept
you.
it. Yeah,
I know. I gotta go, Jacoby. Watch all of your. I'm gonna, like. I probably did. What's today?
that is said
I'm gonna go
indeed.
watch it. He gonna be like, "Why you got all these likes on here, TK?" Because I'm just gonna watch the whole channel. Like sports documentaries. I'm telling you. And when you say
But
mini sports documentaries, I'm like,
yeah,
Yeah.
because you're finding, Jacoby, since I've known you, you've
Yeah.
done sports stuff, and you're finding your pocket. But your training comes there, your education comes from there. Where you're at now is helping push you to that to make it better, or give you that your voice, help you with your voice. I think that's what it is. That is it right there. Filmmakers have to find their voice. And they got to stop worrying about another person's voice. I don't like the way everybody sings. I just don't listen to them. I just don't. The ones I do like, I like, and I tell people about it. You want me to share you my playlist? I share you my playlist. There might be some songs that you don't like. I used to work in a record store, and I used to tell everybody this. The reason I buy the whole CD is because at the time, CDs were like anywhere from $12.99 to $15.99. Maxi singles and tapes were like $3.99, $4.99, right? If you buy the whole album, you've bought that many maxi singles or singles. And if you happen to like at least 3 or 4 songs on that whole album, then you spent the same amount of money you would for the singles. But you might find a song in there that you didn't think about and start to like it. Monster Squad, prime example. The movie Monster Squad did horrible at the movies. It has a cult following now. People started watching it. They got on board with it, and they love that movie.
Well, and I apologize for interrupting again, but that's the part where you talk about, and the people don't get this. The public zeitgeist doesn't tell me what I like, right? And so everything we see, if we think is going to be great, or everything, the film that you might not watch, the groups like what is it that I love? I can't even think. It's on HBO Max. It's a DC comic book, and it's weird.
DC Patrol.
Yeah, the robot. Patrol.
Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol. Yeah, my friend Tamika was a character in that. I'm sorry, she was a villain. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to meet her, but I like Doom Patrol. Right. My wife can't stand it. I watch it. It ain't for her.
Right.
But the Doom Patrol is not in the public zeitgeist. So if people think that what the world tells me, the world doesn't tell me what's good. Right? Because it has to fit me. I watch cartoons. I'm 52, and I like watching certain cartoons. Right? That's me. Period. I don't watch certain movies. Now, I found out true crime podcast. I'm sitting there driving, listening about somebody getting killed.
Oh, right. God.
Right? But I don't like horror movies. Right? I hate horror movies. I shouldn't say hate, that's too strong. But like Lou loves horror movies, and he make what he likes.
I'm not a horror movie fan, but I watch some of them.
Yeah, but you find your niche because you find your people you talk to. People who talk too much don't find their niche because they're trying to follow the trend. I'm not doing that. So like even with my company that I work for, right? Everybody loves football and basketball. Right? I go and talk to the track star. I go find the swimmer. I go find the wrestling story, because everybody has a story and everything has a story.
Yes.
And most people don't know until you bring it to them. Then they be like, oh, I didn't know you like that. I didn't know blah blah blah. Or I didn't know. That's because people are always in what they watch too many, look at too much Instagram, watch too much Rotten Tomatoes, looking for that. They looking for all these things to validate what they like instead of finding their lane and sticking in it. I don't even look at Rotten Tomatoes. I really don't.
I don't.
Right.
I don't care.
And
I'm not a critic person.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
but I
I
mean,
just I
I
get
just
mad at Rotten Tomatoes sometimes, but that's it.
but Rotten Tomatoes has an audience, right?
mhm,
Yep.
And so when we talk about when we're in filmmaker groups, that's an audience, right? And Tyler Perry didn't grow. Tyler Perry, no disrespect, he didn't grow up in that lane. He was never part of that lane, and so he is an outsider that made it inside.
mhm.
And people want him to do it like they think it should, like they've been told it should be done.
That right there. Because you got to think about it. He did it his way, and he has a studio, one of the biggest
He did it
studios.
his way, and he has a
Yeah.
studio, an audience, $1 billion, a
Because before
son, like
him,
everything.
before Tyler Perry, the only black studio I knew of was in Virginia with Tim Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Did Oscar Michaud have one in
Yeah,
Tyler, Texas? And that was in Tyler, Texas.
but I mean,
And
talk
you can
about
look.
like in our era of growing up.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. I
Look,
get
that's
what you.
like,
Yeah,
look,
Oscar was.
baby,
Yeah,
look,
but
we
see
only had a
again,
few, so look, we only had a few, so
but
we.
right, and then so for us in the early 2000s into late 90s to the early 2000s was Tim Reed, and if you're familiar with Tim Reed, he played WKRP Cincinnati
Yeah.
and some other stuff. And Tim Reed was doing short films. And we were in this Red Bull contest, and Tim Reed was one of the judges for that Red Bull contest. This was 2003, 2002 or something like that, around that time, maybe 2004. I can't. It was the Red Bull elevator pitch. And out of hundreds, 10 of us were selected. But he was there, and unfortunately, we didn't get total chance to really meet. We shook hands, say hi, and keep it moving, kind of like that type of thing, instead of really getting a chance to have a conversation with him. And I think that's where we miss around us, because when you go to film festivals, that's the part that I like. We can sit on the panels, or we could be on the other side of the panel, but nothing beats the networking. Nothing beats the connection.
I love film festivals.
I say we suffer because we're so opinionated about our opinion really matters in the scheme of business. But at the end of the day, it doesn't, because the whole point is we are all business people trying to get movies out there to make the money to make the next film or pay our bills and do all this stuff, and then hopefully create generational wealth. And I'm big on that. I'm about generational wealth.
But and Mike, as we sit and talk about filmmakers, directors, producers are sometimes egotistical. Let's be honest. Writers, some of them are egotistical.
Right.
And when their products get made, they're the king of the castle, and that's how they feel. And that's where they lose themselves, because there's other writers, directors, and and leaders that if you don't work with people that's good in their craft, right, you don't grow, or a lot of times you don't make. Like, I'm in Philly, and I started out, and I work with a lot of directors. I've been around a lot of filmmakers. They either are extremely cheap, sneaky, or they don't know how to collaborate. And the ones who have been successful have large teams that they've collaborated with and
Right.
work with. Like I don't know. You watched the Wonder Years,
Yeah.
the new one.
Oh
So
Yeah.
yes.
the
Tamika was on
father,
it.
so the father of the little girl,
Mm-hmm.
that's my friend, like my friend,
Okay.
Nakia. Met him on my first short film that I did, and he's always brought me in when he could. He's always worked together, and you can understand. And he's even started his own acting school,
Oh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's always been able to grow, especially in making films and in Philly, because he shares, he collaborates, he cooperates, he brings people in, he works with them. And he also understands his brand where he needs to make money. You know what I mean? And so, but then I've worked with another filmmaker that was in a short period of time was the man in Philly making his plays and his short films. But he's done because he hasn't been able to collaborate or work with people and be up. And I don't want to talk about people that's in a negative way, so I won't bring up names, but I'll definitely talk about, like, I got a friend I work with, Atif Lanier, been doing films in Philly for years, and that's who I've got my first little check for co-producing, because Atif brought us in, and I have to give praises because he's never been shady. He's always brought people in. He's always paid people what he could. If he said he was going to pay you $100, that's what he had, and he was going to pay you. If he could pay you
Come
more,
on,
he would.
somebody.
You know what I mean? So when you sit and talk about work, and I've worked with Atif from when my first ever film, Atif was a producer on it, and he's always built a friendship and brought me along. And even when we argue, he's always been fair in what he's paid and how he treated you and the respect he carried for what you brought to the table. But a lot of directors and producers don't operate in that space. They feel like I'm the man and that's how it should be. And some have to work like that to get it. If you're working like that to make sure your project gets done, it's different. Because if you don't operate in that space to get your project done, it might not get done.
Right.
But if you're working in that space to treat people a certain way, or to say I'm better than, or I'm the man, you're always going to lose out and end up with nothing.
Amen.
And I've seen them come and go in that space. Because at the time I was the guy, the fusser, the complainer, that's saying it's supposed to be that way. And then I had to step back because I wasn't getting things done. When I was able to collaborate more, listen, and not be so subjective of everybody else's work, then projects came out my wazoo. Right. And so I've been there. I understand. That's why I think I have a unique experience, because I've been the hater at one point.
And see,
You know?
my thing was, I've always tried to bring people together and bridge, because I knew that, it takes a village to raise a child, right? It takes a village to make films. And the only problem is when you get burnt by people within the village, you have to learn that everybody ain't meant to ride the same train as you. Some people got to get off, and you got to let them off. You can't be mad that they don't want to stay on. You got to let them off. Some people will not understand your trajectory because you're not moving in their timing or the way they would move, because you are who you are and design the way you are. When I saw a deficit of the lack of education for a lot of people who want to make films, this is why we created the Black Filmmakers Lounge. Because I met so many people, and they would make when I said, and somebody goes, yeah, we didn't get a location release, so we couldn't get distribution deal. We don't work without contracts. That is rule number one for me from day one. Excuse me. So I had to be like, yeah, and see how much further would you have gotten, right? Even when I use somebody's music, I wrote in, if you sample anything, you're totally responsible for the samples. So when they come for me, they coming for you. They're not coming for me. We just gonna pass paperwork on to you, and you need to handle it. When I was in music, I encourage everybody to write their own stuff. And so that's how I looked at stuff. But when you don't have the knowledge, and when people don't want to pay people, like, I get if you're doing a school film for grad school or undergrad, you might not be able to pay people, but you can sure enough feed them. Right. In this day and age, you can raise money in some ways, but
yeah,
I don't
stop feeding pizza all the time too. Everybody don't want to eat pizza every day.
Like, we bought chicken and food.
I only
We
have
had a
pizza
whole
one day.
thing. Yeah, and you can cook. Like, that's the thing. It don't cost nothing to cook or order some stuff or whatever. But I started valuing my first film, my first feature. I didn't necessarily pay everybody, but I did feed them. Right. When we started selling DVDs, I gave them a cut. If they were selling, they got a cut, right? And that's how I looked at it, right? Because if I'm benefiting, you need to benefit. Now, my original objective was to find angel investors and find distribution for it, and bless them with 10 grand a piece, because they believed in, or some of them believed in my project enough that they put their time and effort, late nights, early mornings into it. And so I believed in, hey, if I got to this point, this is what I'm going to do. And at the time, you can't be taxed on 10 grand. as a gift. Right now it's like 15 or 16,000. But like that's how I looked at it. Now, my own people turned around and saw that I was coming out of pocket. I didn't have a job or certain things were happening. And some people started writing checks at the studio for me. Didn't ask them. They just like, I believe in it here. I'm going to pay for my studio time for the ADR. I'm gonna do it. I didn't expect that. I just had to grind however I could and find outside gigs to make the money. And
just keep moving.
Yeah. And like, I always tell people, when y'all sit here and be like, well, where's the money? Where's the money? What do you mean, where's the money? The money is sitting in your pocket. The money is not going to McDonald's. The money is not buying something you want for something you need to do. The money, you have it. Truthfully.
But here's the truest statement I've ever heard in my whole life. You got to do what you have to do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You might not like it, but you got to do what you have to do to go do what you want to do.
Yeah, it's like,
that's my jewel. You want it.
That's his jewel.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and Jalen, shout out to Jalen Daniels. Jalen's one of my producers, been in development with me. You're talking about people believing in you. Woo! Mm-hmm. Jalen, that right there. All props, kudos, because he totally has believed in what God has told me, what God has given me, and he has helped me, walked alongside of me with this development all the time. So shout out to Jalen. And he has said earlier, if your audience is everybody and your audience is nobody, then your audience is nobody. Everything has a specific viewer that will connect with the project. Tony said WB was the closest thing to Flex Studio. Derek said Nakia. It
was at one point.
Derek said Nakia, I guess that's the guy's name, who's the little girl's dad on Wonder Years. Yeah. So Tamika was married to Nakia and was the little girl's mama.
Oh,
and
okay.
She was also
that's why.
And she was also Doom Patrol. Yeah, and Doom Patrol. Darrell shouted out, "Hey, Philly!" And Derek said that's true, talking about how with knowing everything and that the project suffers. I've walked away from a few different filmmakers because I don't like the way the people were treated, and I didn't like that the person knew everything, like you said, would never listen, but was extremely critical of other people. But then when it came to their project, they would never listen to one person, give one piece of advice, and then on top of the treatment of others, it was like, you know what? Good luck. Like, I don't have to be here. You know what I mean? I don't have to be here. But I was there, did what I needed to do, learned and networked and collaborated at the same time where I could. And Derek said, I know a few cats in Philly and Jersey like that, and I offered my services to help. And Darrell said, Philly is interesting. Philly film industry is interesting. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, like for me, I will offer to help to a certain extent. Like I was helping with some pre-production, and then it was like, oh, the script needs to be like reviewed and blah, blah, blah. I think I mentioned that. And I was like, so the script's not ready? Like, I'm not going in and working on this script, 4 days before. Like, that's where I draw the line. Like, no, if you guys, the director, the producer, and all that, the writer, and whoever took on the script to finance it, y'all should have made sure the script was ready before you even had a casting call. Like, there's certain, you know what I mean? So there's certain places like Derek said, he offered to help. It's like, I offer to help, but it's like, there's a place I draw the line because I'm not doing that. Like, if y'all didn't make sure this was ready to go, I'm not. That's why when I come out of development into this fast 2-week, whatever God's given me, like you said, like a week and a half pre-production, this stuff is ready. This stuff is ready. If there's any adjustments or changes need to be made, everything is ready. Like, we don't have to go back and fix the script. We don't have to go back and, do this or do that. If a location closes or something, I have no control over it, then I have to find something different. But I've been in development this whole time. I'm not going to go, and I always say that I'm not asking anybody for a dime of their money or a minute of their time, and I'm going to waste it. And we did the table reader, LOL, love over lyrics. People didn't even want to get off the thing. I was like, listen, I respect your time. So wait, I got one more thing to say. They did not even want to get off of the table read.
The blood.
I filmed that too. We should watch that one day. We should have a round table where we watch that table read.
Yeah. I mean,
That table read was so.
And like,
That
and
table
here's the
read was
thing,
amazing.
and I will say this because your audience is knowing your audience is so important. It will shape your perspective and change how you operate. Right? It will change how you deal with people. Again, you have two choices. You go the commercial route. Commercial route is, hey, you still got to know your audience for your commercial. Like Coca-Cola knows who drinks Coca-Cola. To the point, I think Coca-Cola owns either RC Cola or Shasta. They own one of them. I want you to think about that. The big company owns the cheap one.
But that happens all the time. But they also understand both who they're talking to.
Exactly.
Right? Sony owns Vizio.
There you go.
Right? I mean, so that's the key. And that's the problem when you also got to know yourself. And when you get caught up in yourself and don't really understand, because I always bring it back to knowing your market, knowing your audience as an independent filmmaker. You got to know who you are, because most of the times you're making your film or the film you think people want to see. And when you truly don't understand those things, you know what I mean, then you miss out because you're not even evaluating the person you're making a movie for or the story. Right? Because the story normally came from something that you wanted to see or that you think would be thorough, but you don't even understand why you like it. You just, because I've done that. I've got hooked on a shot in my mind and tried to make the story around one shot that I thought would be a dope shot. Right? And you end up with nothing because it's not based on the story. It's not based on anything. It's based on getting from A to that shot.
Okay.
Right?
We're gonna get this shot in here.
But that's why, I guess that's why when people are so opinionated about other people's work, I just sit back and say, I remember The Pet Rock and I remember Sharknado. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, hey, you know, you can sell anything to anybody. And the reason The Pet Rock sold is people wanted something to escape. They just wanted something that was fun, that they really weren't worried about. They didn't care. It wasn't you don't have quality control for a rock. Let's think about that for a second, right? You're not talking about, it has to be of great quality. The eyes need to be perfectly placed. And it needs, you're not thinking, it's a pet rock. It was a gimmick. It made the guy millions of dollars. Sharknado to me is a gimmick. It made them, I'm quite sure it made them millions.
Yo, they got it's like 4 versions or 5 versions or something crazy like that.
I think they're on like 8 or 9.
Yeah, they're high. Like they're almost up there with Fast and the Furious. Like, to me.
But you don't see that kind of vitriol for Sharknado.
Yeah, no one's saying anything because it knows its audience and they're just there to have fun. And I think that's where the title of this show is. Your audience wants to be entertained. Sometimes we get too caught up that we're not entertaining. We watch movies to escape. We watch movies to enjoy. We watch, everything doesn't have to be trauma. Everything doesn't, you know, it can be something fun to laugh at. Like, I have to build myself up to see Black trauma, like slave movies and things to talk about civil rights. I have to actually be in a certain mood to watch that. And that's when I'll go watch it. And so, because I have to shape my mentality for it. Because if I don't, I might be mad when I come out the theater and want to hurt somebody. So I gotta change my perspective, watch it, right? But I watch movies as a kid to enjoy it. When I went to the movie theater as a child in Germany, I went and saw Grease, They Live, which is about these creature, like this baby that was eating up people. Jaws. You gotta understand, like, this is what I watched as a kid. I'm watching Kojak, because that's what we watched in Germany. I saw the Star Wars special, the Christmas special. I had never seen Star Wars, the movie. The first Star Wars movie I ever saw was Empire Strikes Back when I came to the United States. But I saw Starsky and Hutch all the time. We saw Charlie's Angels. Like, that's what I watched in Germany. But as a little kid, when I went to school, they played Woody Woodpecker all the time. All these cartoons. We saw The Creature from the Black Lagoon in school. We saw
in school?
Yeah. You're like, in school? Yeah,
But that was an old horror movie, so it wasn't as scary.
it wasn't scary.
then.
It really wasn't.
That's when the
scary.
scary movie. That's when the horror movies were scary.
It wasn't scary.
No,
no.
the creature from
was not
American
scary.
Werewolf of London, The Exorcist,
that's a different thing.
Poltergeist. Okay,
but those
that's
are
a
different.
genre.
The creature from the Black Lagoon was like black and white.
Yeah,
and he was just liked
on the
this
sound
girl.
stage.
Yeah.
No, listen, they made the Blob, bro. The Blob,
the
ball
Blob
of Vaseline.
The stuff.
Hold up, the Blob, a big ball of thick Vaseline was killing people.
Right.
And people watched it.
You are so right, Derek. They made the Blob. Like you were so right.
You mean Jacoby?
And so
you looking at Derek.
Yeah, I knew what she meant. What she meant.
What did I say?
You said Derek.
Oh, because I was thinking about Derek's
Derek said
comment.
Grease is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, he said Grease is all-time favorite. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Like we were missing it. Like people got mad when The Color Purple was a musical because they didn't understand that.
No, yeah, and that's so. I'm one of those people. So I didn't see the marketing. My wife goes, "Babe, I want to go see The Color Purple." I saw a few clips, and I'm thinking it's like I want to go see a remake of the movie.
Okay.
And then when I got in there, it was the musical. Almost had me curse. I was angry and bitter the whole movie, and I was talking bad about it the whole time because I went in there to see a remake of The Color Purple that I love so much. Mister wasn't the same type of Mister. You know what I mean?
Right.
The line you told Harpo to beat me to hit different.
Right.
Yep, right. It all hit different.
And Mr. Illy home now. That like that was different. So all the things that I loved about the original, it was different because I didn't realize that it was going to be the play. And I never like a play that gets turned into a movie. And I don't know if they started marketing it late because my wife, her sorority had a special screening so that we could go in the all one theater. And I was disappointed. I left mad. I complained the whole time. I ain't want to see this. It sucks. But when you go back for the play, right? If it fits the play and people who watch the play, it's the same. But I don't like movies getting turned into plays. I don't like it. And
really?
That's me.
Fences.
I don't.
Really? Soldier Story?
Fences had listen. Fences had too much doggone dialogue.
Now wait, I'm gonna break this down. You said plays that get turned into movies, not movies who get turned into plays.
Well,
right?
Color Purple was a book first.
Yes, and then it became a movie. Then it became a play.
Okay.
Don't be trying to twist me around, Michael.
And Thaddeus Dr. Jones says subverting your expectation is necessary.
Yeah.
But that's hard when it's a remake. It's hard when it's a remake.
But they didn't remake the movie. That's the problem for me.
Right.
They didn't remake the movie.
They did the Broadway musical as a movie versus the actual movie.
So it's not a remake. And that's what I was. When you call it a remake, I want to see a remake of the movie, right? I don't want to see. I don't want you to take the Lion King play and now make that a movie. Nah, I'm not doing that.
I get you. I get you. Like to me, I like certain stuff. Like I grew up on The Wiz, right? That's the other thing I saw when I was in Germany.
Oh, that's right.
The Wiz was a play.
I saw The Wiz before I saw The Wizard of Oz. So like,
oh wow,
I was more connected to The Wiz as
Mike. I saw The Wiz on Broadway, bro.
Then
I saw the movie. I loved it. Stephanie Mills.
Okay, because it's on.
Stephanie
Oh yeah, because it's on Broadway across America now.
Yeah, this ain't the original. This ain't the original. I saw it when they came out. When the wind came out,
Stephanie
the
Mills
tornado
was the
came
original
out.
Dorothy.
Yeah, but no.
Oh yeah.
And they come out. And I know I'm diverting, but I'm sensitive because I bought the album. I had the vinyl of the Wiz the play. The tornado is these beautiful dancers with these sheer outfits on. So when they ran across the stage, the sheer thing was like wind blowing behind them, and that was the tornado. So don't talk to me about plays that become movies. They didn't remake the play. The Wiz, the movie is completely different, but it just has that black energy. Right. It wasn't the play. So I'm gonna let that go. I saw it on Broadway with Stephanie Mills. It was dope.
All I'm saying,
And I got my gym too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm just saying, you know, next week we might need to talk about where do you find the stories, because I did see some people talking about like James Bond will be available in 2030 and 2035 for public
Public domain.
domain. And people are like, hey, write it. And I'm like, why don't you just write an original spy story? But it gets the conversation where you getting these stories from. So, you know.
Oh, we can do that. I would love. I got to check my schedule, but because I
Yeah.
think we got MEAC championships next week.
Oh, okay.
Woo!
Okay. All right.
Championship.
Congratulations. Yeah.
I'm not in it. I'm just shooting it. I'm
Oh,
not
you're
in it. I'm
shooting.
just shooting.
Oh, I thought it was your team.
He's
Okay.
shooting.
Oh,
They shooting.
All right. So I had to mess with y'all. All right, let's get those 60-second gems out there.
30, 45, 67.
Go ahead, TK.
Oh, my gym, and I'm sorry if you probably heard me say it again. I'm going to say it again. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. There is no way you have projects that are ready, and you're looking for funding and you have nothing. I had an investor meeting and I laid this stuff out. That man was like this. Like, they were blown away. So every time I have a meeting, it's like everybody's blown away because I have prepared. Like I said, not a minute of your time I will be wasting, for any meeting, anything. And I mean that. So sitting there, like Derek was like, when is it going to pre-production? Derek, any day now. But I tell you what, I'm ready. I tell you what, I am ready. So that is, and I've said it before, and I'm going to always keep saying it. Stop asking and praying for stuff that you ain't prepared for. And that goes for, because I am an unofficial life coach, that goes for every area of your life. But everything is laid out. So stop hunting for money. And I use the story about, am I going over 60 seconds? I use the story about my friend who was chasing down this particular person to have coffee. And she was just like, I can't. And she was so mad. Then she said, well, I guess I need to write something. You've been chasing this person down and you have nothing to present. Let me call you back. I got to call you back. So
she been drinking.
Let me call you back. I got
the meeting
go.
was more important.
All
right, what you got?
Just being in that space. I said it in there,
Jacoby gave his earlier.
Oh yeah.
Do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do.
There you go. I use that in the classroom all the time. All right, and my 60-second gem is simple. Find your pocket by finding your audience, and there's two ways to find an audience. You can be commercial, or you can make what you want to see, and there'll be people there to see it. Real simple.
Yay! Have a great weekend.
So we're going to say thank you for hanging out with us here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge, Indie Industry Shop Talk. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, with my co-host, Tamara TK Henderson and Jacoby Simmons. And we thank you guys for hanging out. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, let people know that we exist. Remember that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, where novice or professionals come together to gain insight, perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices through the advancement of the Black interdependent film community. So we appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Go out, shoot something, write something, make something, do something, but find your audience. So thank you. And join our community. We talk to you guys later. Be blessed. Enjoy your wonderful weekend. And we out. Peace.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Like, subscribe, and share. What?
Like, subscribe, and share.
Go, Lewis. Like, subscribe, and share. Hey,
and we out.
Hey.